Welcome, viewers. This is Winch here with a big announcement. Yes, I've broken down and I've joined the dark side. I'm sorry to say to all my console fans. Well, I'm not turning my back on console at all. I've always been a console fanboy for the many, many years with PlayStation going back since the first PlayStation. Of course, various consoles before that. But it's time to adapt. I've noticed a lot of changes in myself here over the last year or so, just with my YouTube channel alone. In particular with Battlefield 3 opening my eyes to new genre shooters. Coming from a Call of Duty and then kind of going back to Call of Duty with Black Ops 2, I'm enjoying playing that game right now. But yes, this game, Planetside 2, it deserves some attention. I've yet to see what the official review is on this game. It just has officially been released. It's been in beta testing for a while now. It's officially a release now. A free-to-play game, a massive multiplayer game, which will be my first ever played. Never been a big PC gamer. Not anything modern-wise. Again, way back in the early 90s, got away from it. And now what I've seen, what they're capable of doing, I'm quite astonished. And again, I think Battlefield 3 was instrumental in kind of steering me this direction as a tactical shooter. Really kind of developing tactics, posting that on YouTube, going in depth about loadouts and teamwork and those aspects of gameplay, which I seem to kind of taken a liking to. And of course, I still enjoy playing action shooters like Black Ops 2, and I'll be posting up content with that as well. And occasionally some Medal of Honor and whatever game is out there. But if it's a shooter, more likely I'm going to want to play it if it's good. But look at this game. This game certainly needs to be talked about. Planetside 2, again, I was intimidated by this game right off the bat. I was kind of curious watching a lot of commentators spotlight this game. And of course, all the big networks and channels you guys are familiar with. And for me to kind of get into this game, it seemed like more than, I felt like if I was going to enter this game, again, first of all, I had to get a PC that was capable of running it. And I've got a laptop that I use for this game since I'm on the road a lot. And actually all this footage I got while I was on the road, which surprised me because I figured if I was on a hotel wireless connection, I'd probably just have incredible lag. But really no lag issues on the road, which surprised me. Also was surprised at how well this game played on my laptop. I mean, it's not a multi-$1,000 laptop or anything. It's just a Hewlett-Packard laptop with a 2 GB dedicated graphics card, which is pretty much what you need, and obviously a quad-core minimum processor. I'm sure this game's pretty much tasking its capabilities, in particular with the recording device I used to use this. This is all, again, I'm not used to PC gaming, guys, so I apologize for kind of a learning curve for me. Again, everything's completely different than what I use for a console. You have to use a completely different software with this. I've yet to really figure it out because just like 30 seconds of footage equates to 3 GB of data, and I don't know why the file sizes are that big. It's really just an example of how everything is changing for me if I want to produce this kind of gameplay. But I'm showing you a series of this random kind of gameplay in this game. I'm showing you the size and scopes of these maps. Pay attention to those player counts. Right, here's a map. This is a base I was just in. Here's what it looks like from a map perspective. Let's kind of zoom in here. You can see how big that base is, and then zooming out, these are sectors. The story of this game is kind of complex, and I'm not an expert by any means, but basically you're battling on this planet, Araxis, I believe is the name of it. You have several factions that are fighting for control of this planet, and the three factions are basically they're humans is what they are. But they have various, and here's me making an epic fail, dropping into Hornet's Nest, getting enveloped by the team. And these teams, that player that just killed me right there is the Terran Republic faction. Those are the red guys. I'm playing, and I chose to play in the New Conglomerate. That is the faction I chose. Each one has their own little brief story that kind of explains what they are. The New Conglomerate I kind of related to because it reminds me of the United States. They basically were trying to free themselves from the Terran Republic, which were the red guys, which are apparently a very oppressive type race. It kind of reminds me a lot of the British Empire. No offense to my British mates over there. Certainly love that country. But again, going back to the history of all, this kind of reminded me how this brief storyline they had depicted the Terran Republic as being kind of an oppressive, law-abiding country trying to instill laws and regulations on people, and the New Conglomerate's like, nah, hell with that, we don't want to be a part of that. Now the other faction is kind of a wild card in the bunch. They're the purple guys, and I think they like to kind of get into it with aliens, if you know what I mean. But they're all about researching alien technology and pursuing that venture, and they're called the Vanu shoot, what was it called? A Vanu Sovereignty, I remember correctly. So the other reason I chose the new conglomerate, and each faction pretty much has a class set up like Battlefield 3. Look at this. I mean, look at all these. Every one of those is a guy with a computer playing this game. It just blows my mind, the scope of this game. I've never played anything like this. I mean, it's just incredible. These battles are just absolutely incredible. But again, there's more to it than just choosing a side. They actually do have classes in this game. There's basically assault classes. I'm a heavy assault right now. And then there's medics, there's engineers, there's light assaults. So it's kind of like Battlefield 3 and engineers. So like Battlefield 3, there's various classes that have their own individual weapons and particular equipment specialties. But also, between the factions themselves, they all have the same classes, like I just mentioned. Every class has, or every faction has the same classes. But they do have slight differences in the weapons and the vehicles. And I like the new conglomerate because I like the weapons that they have. They're more kind of what I would deem a weapon to be, kind of like Gauss rifle type. They shoot bullets. Is kind of what you're dealing with. And here's me in the very heaviest of assault classes. It's like the max class is what they call us, where you're just a heavy infantry, heavily armored infantryman, and almost like a suit of sorts, with two main guns. One's on the right's a rocket launcher, the other one on the left's a big old, kind of like a grenade launcher, I'd say. But again, I like the new conglomerate because I like the aerial vehicles they had. The Reaper in particular is kind of like an A-10 type of aircraft, if I can compare it to that. It takes a lot of damage, does a lot of damage on the ground from the air. And again, the weapons seem to be pretty intuitive from what I'm accustomed to. And I just wasn't into that whole alien energy stuff with the other faction, the Vanu. They're just really all laser beams and stuff like that. It's just a little... it was a little much for me to kind of take that all in. And plus, not to mention, that's pretty much what everybody else on YouTube's running. So I want to do something a little different here and bring you some footage with the new conglomerate. And I like the color blue, of course. You know, can't go wrong with that. But here again, you can see, here I am flying at night or kind of dusk. What's important to understand with this game is just, it's just everything. You're playing on a world in real time. It has daylight cycles, it has night cycles. It's not like you're just playing capture the flag or domination. No, you're actually playing for actual territories that are constantly in contest. Any faction can go take another faction's land. It's their responsibility to defend that land. If they don't, it's seized. I was just playing a lot of one day. We captured all these biodomes and sectors, and then I came on the next day and we just lost them all. So it's real-time action. Obviously, and for the longest time, I didn't pay anything on this game. I downloaded it and just went in right up playing, and I didn't have to pay anything, which just astonished me. I figured I wouldn't be able to hold my own, but you can actually do pretty good with just the basic weapons. Now, if you want to pay for some weapons, you can unlock them to kind of increase your time to unlock them or increase your experience gained by getting like little boosters to increase your experience. But you don't have to pay if you don't want to. But it's certainly worth paying for this game because it's just incredible. And that'll obviously increase your rate at which you acquire experience in this game. So I know, I apologize guys that this is a very broad type video here. I'm just again showing you various gameplay of this. Real emphasis, if anything, just on the scope of the game is really what I was trying to get at in this video. So you can see these lush areas, huge battlefields, but they're filled up with lots of players. So it's not like on console, on like Armored Kill, for example, where you're just running around endlessly. Well, I mean, you can do that in this game, but I mean, for the most part, there's always action going on somewhere if you kind of know where to go, and they do a very well job at immediately throwing you in the action. I thought like as soon as I got in this game I'd just be overwhelmed by the learning curve. It's not that bad. It's not nearly what I anticipated it to be. It's pretty intuitive. I think they've done a great job, the developers of this game, explaining it. It's a masterfully made game. I've found absolutely no bugs at all playing this game, which astonishes me because I remember with Battlefield 3 on launch how many we had there. And again, given the scope of this game, the complexity of this game, it just amazes me that it's this seamless. So it's an incredibly well-made game, very versatile game. I can see an extraordinary amount of depth involved with this game. Lots of potential with this game. It's incredibly. There's as a YouTube commentator, you could spend years on this game. I could say that easily with this game. I think it'd certainly be around for a few years easily. Just an incredible dynamic game, lots of fun. Again, I'm still having a learning curve with the controllers I showed you in the very beginning of this footage. I didn't explain that too well, but that's the controller I'm using. I had to break down finally get a mouse because as a console player, they just don't really have support for gamepads, and they're almost useless on PC. So unfortunately, I had a breakdown with that. But I'm going to have lots more content with this to come, guys. I want to introduce you to this concept. I'm going to have more of it to come. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the video. This is Windshear.